to another Gotham Outsiders Pride special, DrakeWatch. DrakeWatch.
Woo!
I said I was going to make an intro. I did not. I just did it again with my mouth. So, adding tender to the slow burn, I'm your bad obsessive and Tim obsessive, Chris. And trying to fan that flame, my co-host, TJ.
Hello, everyone. I think I'm your Chris proclaimed Batman acolyte.
Could we hold hands about it?
Yeah, we can hold hands.
Wait, that's
real coyly.
That's scandalous. We have to put the explicit on this episode if we hold hands.
Oh, Lordy.
James does not know what he's gotten into.
I know. I know all too well.
Yes. So with us today is the members of our JLQ. Since you already heard him, I'll go ahead and start with host of the Panel to Panel podcast, James Portis.
What's up?
Woo. You are the new addition to our JLQ.
All right, we've only got some color in here. I'm here for it.
We had to get some fresh meat.
I mean, I'm always fresh, honey.
You are. We know this, James. And back again, as always, author of such amazing things as Galaxy, the Prettiest Star, with an amazing story we've already rambled about so much in the Pride Anthology. It's Jadzia Axelrod.
Hello, Chris. I have never had such difficulty not laughing when you said adding Kindle to the slow burn.
I saw that and it was really hard for me to keep going.
I couldn't find the mute button, and so I had to keep it all inside. And amazing.
Just trying. We're going to get it through the finish line at some point.
It's beautiful. It's poetry.
And somehow managing to be quiet through all of that, we also have Alex Jaffe.
I'm in hell. Don't you know I'm in queer baiting hell? Hello, everybody.
I knew there was something. You were being too quiet. I was like, he is building up something.
Yeah.
Welcome back to another edition of JLQ DrakeWatch.
Yeah, we did it. We got a kiss. There was a sex scene, right?
Oh yeah. Welcome back to the final episode.
The final episode.
We did it. He said he was not only bisexual, he was bisexual as fuck. We got it. We got everything we wanted.
I'm sorry to say this will not be a trilogy of DrakeWatch episodes. I think we have many more ahead of us.
I'm about to say we're getting a solo series, so there better be more.
No,
episodes.
It's a solo series. Bernard's not even in anymore. He's flying solo.
I know. Tim Drake is about to put the slow in solo.
Oh my god!
No one else is in it. It's a one-man show.
Yeah.
Called Tim Drake Robin. It's just him on stage monologuing for 24 pages.
Yet somehow we still get no more depth to his feelings.
Oh, sadly.
All right, let's start there with the announcement of his ongoing, because we've had a lot happen since the last time we talked. The Tim Drake story in the DC Pride Anthology came out called Special Delivery, and then we have the DC Pride Tim Drake special, which
totally different.
Yeah, putting special and DC Pride in both of those.
We can't even have Robin on it because of Damien. I'm still salty about that.
James, we talked about this. I could still kick you from this pod.
I mean,
there are no bad Robins.
There are no bad Robins.
I didn't write the Jonathan Kent Pride story. That's all I'm saying.
And blocked. Okay, so it's just Jadzia and Alex.
Oh my god.
And lastly, we had the announcement of Tim Drake's ongoing. So we've had a lot. So the first time I've read this news story that's in this issue, I was pretty unforgiving. I really think knowing that there's going to be more made me look at it a little bit more favorably.
Oh, TJ.
Yeah, that's sweet of you.
I thought I had won you over. I really did.
Apparently you won me over, Jadzia.
I'm still on Team Jadzia, but I was on Twitter on a rant our page.
You were on a tear.
My one tweet got like over 200 likes. I was like, Tim and Khan were way more intimate. Bernard wasn't even there. Like,
I'm
touched his shoulder.
I'm on TJ's team at that point, yeah, because like Tim and Khan were always the queer baiting team.
Sure.
Like the fact that we
And they
had to
continue to
write
be.
Tim a
And they
boyfriend
continue to
in,
be.
and
The
we couldn't just
tradition
confirm
continues.
the queer baiting is sad.
Yeah. So my first time around, I was like, you know what? I'm done with this. Give me the kiss or get Bernard out of here. But I just reread the whole thing today, and knowing that there's going to be an ongoing, I'm like, okay. Like
No.
I'm a little more content, but I'm still not
Nope.
completely.
You're like Lucy
I-
with the football here. Or
Yeah.
DC's Lucy with the football. You're Charlie Brown.
Yeah, you're
Excuse
Charlie
me.
Brown. You just keep trying to kick it and falling on the
I think
ground.
it was just, getting the Pride special story, and I was like, oh my god, are they gonna kiss? They look like they're gonna kiss. No. And then I was like, oh, it's gotta be in the Tim Drake special. Are they gonna kiss? No. And so I'm like, all right, at least I have more opportunities coming up.
Here's the thing about the Tim Drake special. The Tim Drake special, the majority of the content is reprints of stuff we already saw
Yep.
in Batman Urban Legends.
Yep.
It's essentially a collection of that first arc to lead you into the next arc, but there's a few pages there of extra material, which feels less like an original story that's meant to direct you towards like the development of this arc, and more like, this is a scene I guess we have to get out of the way. Like
Yeah.
it felt like we were getting Stephanie Brown resolution against the creator's will. Like we didn't really want to deal with this, but I guess we have. Like the whole
Stephanie.
theme is the literal elephant in the room.
Mhm.
Like,
I mean, yeah.
like,
I know, right?
Like it is
It's
a
so
series
bad.
born of due diligence before they can tell the story they want to tell.
Now, to be fair,
The whole-
when it comes to that,
Yes.
like Tynan really did kind of cement that Tim was gonna finally be the Robin that gets to go to college and say peace out, and
Yeah.
him and Stephanie were gonna go and do that, and then
Yes.
it was like murder, but not actually murder, and it was like now we gotta pull him back into the ranks,
Yeah.
and then we make him a duck because Bendis sucks, and then we make him back to being a Robin.
Oh, that was a joke. Come on.
Nah, Bendis can burn for that. I'm sorry, like he
Okay.
really wanted
That
to play
whole
his own
book was
stamp
a
on
comedy, James. Do you know what a comedy is?
Are we talking about the Drake name?
There's
That
a
was
difference
never
between
meant to stick.
There's a difference
I heard
between a
that, TJ.
comedy and a poorly written comic book.
Okay, before we go off on Duck Watch, I do have to agree with you on that point. Like Stephanie is an important part of his life. This
Right.
story needed to be told.
Yeah.
Nobody's disagreeing. Well, maybe somebody is. I'm not disagreeing. I love Stephanie. It
Yeah.
was a great Stephanie and Tim story. You know what a Stephanie and Tim story isn't? A fucking Pride special.
God damn.
You know, Chris, I hadn't thought about it in those terms before, but you're exactly right. You're
And to be
exactly
clear,
right.
if he were dating her, he would still be bisexual. It'd still be a Pride special. I'm not saying that, but it is a friendship story, and it is barely about anything queer at all. So it is not.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, he is about as intimate with Stephanie in this story as he has been with Bernard for their entire relationship so far. So,
I mean, he touches
If
her
you're-
more than
if
he
you're-
touches
He touches-
Bernard.
He
if you're
holds her
judging it by
hand,
scale,
He holds Kong's hand.
Yeah,
Hands
exactly.
are held.
so if you're judging it by scale, then yeah, it is bisexual
I
representation.
guess it is.
I mean, yeah, like
We're gonna find out that Bernard was a ghost the whole time, and that's why they've never touched.
Oh, he's secret.
he's secretly reincarnated Secret.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be the funniest shit. Like Greta is just randomly a dude now.
Greta's
Or it's
been
just
like-
it's
Greta's
like
been possessing him like Steve Trevor in the
Oh
Wonder
no.
Woman 84.
no, I'm
Oh,
telling you,
no.
he brings Bernard home to meet his family, and it's just the scene from Beautiful Mind where everyone's like, "No one's there, Tim."
Okay, Bernard better be a main part of this ongoing. If Bernard is just popping up here and there like he's been doing in
No,
this special,
actually,
like,
at this point, Bernard's had a year. He's had his chance. I'm tired.
Well,
of
no,
it.
and also like my biggest fear with Bernard, like them shoving him up on the ongoing's butt, like if that's a horrible metaphor. Like that. Them,
I would be fine if he was shoved up someone's butt. Like,
I
that
mean,
would
yeah,
solve
I
this
we
mean,
problem.
want
desperate.
here. That's what we're
Anyway.
asking for.
Anyway, but like I think you have to have a certain finesse like what Tom Taylor's doing with Jonathan and his relationship,
Yeah.
where like they're positioning his romance as like the new generation of Lois Lane kind of thing.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
what's Bernard gonna do? Like, we've learned that bat relationships don't work. Like, if when Tom King of all people, freaking murderer of teens everywhere, and like has proven to us that like bat relationships don't work. I have a vendetta against Tom King. I'm sorry.
Well, that's a whole different story because that comic was not allowed to end the way it was meant to end. But that's a completely
I
different.
mean, they
discussion.
never are they?
They
I was
never
gonna
are.
say,
You know it.
such as Tim's story is not being allowed
Right.
to end the way it should end.
Tom King does not get
Anyway.
all of the blame for that. I'll just say
You're right. Dan DiDio does because he gets half the credit for Heroes in Crisis.
There you go. Yeah. Well,
There's so much blame to go around.
Right.
Can we talk about the most important thing in this issue?
yes.
The hand holding between
Oh my
Tim
God.
and Khan.
Oh,
Tim
absolutely.
Khan.
Absolutely. Well, Chris
and
said
Khan.
my favorite thing about Bernard, that Bernard is designed to be the starter boyfriend for Tim Drake.
Yes.
It's true.
Bernard is here to to open Tim up to the idea that he might be open to boys. And at that point, his eyes will be open to the one boy who was always meant for him.
Oh, his eyes were real open when he saw that hand offer.
Oh yeah.
He was like, "Oh,
Right.
forget
That was
Bernard."
that was like right out of Prince Eric and the Little Mermaid, right?
Oh yes.
They had
And, like just the
full-on
way
Disney
Tim's
eyes.
drawn in it, like just going into the handshake, like it's
It's
so
such a
perfect.
zoom in.
Right.
Question.
This is what a year of him not touching Bernard has done to you people.
Yeah,
It's
you're
like
right.
a
You're
handshake
starving.
is all of a sudden deep, intimate
Oh,
connection.
it's not just
because
the-
it's the most
sex.
we've got.
I mean, to be fair, like the closest thing, like the best Tim Khan moment will always be the Teen Titans Young Justice graduation day, where they're changing back into their clothes in the,
Oh,
in the
sure.
closet.
Inexplicably.
Listen,
Yes.
Inexplicably. And like they're having a whole totally different conversation, but we're all just like queer.
We are all scholars of the Tim Khan queer coding here.
Yes,
It's been
I
going
just-
on for like 20 years now.
After having read this entire arc leading into a new arc, I have a really important question.
What's up?
Mhm.
Does Tim know what sex is?
No.
Okay, we solved it. Maybe he thinks he's having sex.
That's so mean.
Oh, man.
Okay, do you
He's
all
a big
think?
nerd. There's no way.
Yeah,
Like,
he
If
doesn't.
you ask
All right,
him,
all
you'd be
right.
like,
He
I
knows it.
think I know what sex is.
he knows
I
it
mean,
in
I'm-
abstract, right? He's read some books. He's
Yeah.
looked on some websites.
Yeah.
But like, as far as like how that relates to his own physical body, he's not sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
he's
like-
absolutely telling Dick that he is having sex, and he's the only one that thinks it's true.
Damn, that's so mean. See, like if you
Look,
want
I love
to
Tim, but what the hell?
if you want to hear the James conspiracy,
Okay,
like
please.
if we're being like 100% honest with you, while Tom Taylor is a runaway success and DC's gonna let him do what he wants, I don't think, like, unless you're Steve Orlando, I don't think DC knows how to address male to male like intimacy.
Yeah.
Like I had to finesse that, like flat out, like yes, Midnight and Apollo, Steve Orlando can put that in shadow and do whatever because they're labeled as the community as the gay Batman and Superman. Like no one's gonna question that. But in terms of this, one of your main characters that has been adapted into television multiple times, I don't think DC not only knows how to handle a teen romance because we keep de-aging Tim for some godforsaken reason, but also I don't think DC knows how to handle just male masculinity and energy with intimacy in any capacity.
Well,
like the last time we even got near it was Batman Damned, and we had to have Jim Lee go on the Jimmy Kimmel show and look like a moron. Like I don't think we really know how to handle that at all.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
fair.
think it's fair to refer to DC as a monolith. We're talking about a vast collective of writers and editors here, and some may be in a position to tell that story, and some may not. I'd say Chris Conroy is one of DC's most prominent editors over at Black Label. He's a gay man. He knows how to handle these. He knows what sex is. So I don't think it's really fair to paint all of it by that same brush. But yeah, as far as the young justice corner of DC goes, it's been fairly sexless. And when it has been sexual, such as under the Scott Lobdell years, it's been gross. So
to be clear, I never said the writers didn't know what sex was. I was implying the character in context might not know. That was what I was implying.
I just got so just grossed out by Lobdell.
Yes.
All right, I need to take this back to my hand holding because I have a question.
All right.
So on the page, Tim and Khan are holding hands.
Mm-hmm.
We get Steph from behind who's like, "Oh, what's going on here?" Are they still holding hands at that point? And like,
in our hearts, they can be.
Is it subtextual of like, "Oh, what's going on here?" Because
So-
I feel like
So your thought is Stephanie knows he's dating a boy, but
So
does
I
not know
know-
which boy. She's
I know
like,
she
I'll
is
find him.
not. She's not talking about that moment specifically of them holding hands, but in the context of that moment, like I could see it being like a subtext thing.
Well, Steph knows from experience dating Tim that holding his hand is like third base when it comes.
Oh my god!
Right. So are they still holding hands at that
mean.
point? Because I think they are. I think they're
I think
holding
they are.
hands. Their
Yeah.
arms are still pretty close.
Not sure.
I mean,
Didn't
Is the
think I would be
question-
speculating about a hand.
Is the
hold.
question, is it meant to say that? Or is the question, are we collectively going to accept this delusion because we're losing it?
I
What is
think-
the
I mean,
question?
I'll
think
give
it
it 3 panels because once Stephanie stops talking, Tim obviously steps forward. So,
I mean,
like,
sure.
I can hypothetically give you 3 panels of them not on screen that they still hold hands.
This is the worst thing that I've ever done on this show.
I think Megan
Forced
did
to
it on
read-
purpose.
Grant Morrison. Oh God. Yeah, no. I don't
I
think
mean,
it's
we
on
still haven't got
I
to
think that's
Batman and
nice.
Robin
That's
Eternal,
all.
Chris. Like, we still have to torture TJ with Batman and Robin Eternal.
Batman and Robin Eternal is my favorite. That's not torture for me. I didn't say it's the worst thing TJ's had to do on the show. TJ play a game every episode. There are plenty of worse things TJ's had to do.
Got
on
that
the
ballet scene. It's pretty good.
Let's make David Kane a ninja, guys.
show. I love Batman Eternal. It's a mess and I love it.
I'm gonna get to it one day. I gotta
We will.
conquer Batman Eternal
We're
first.
way off topic. I need to read something out loud, if you'll allow me.
Please.
Go for it.
Okay. Step aside, Damien. The world's favorite Robin has got this. That's right. After years away, Tim Drake is taking center stage in a brand spanking new Robin series of his very own.
Woo!
Mystery over a year in the making takes shape as a new villain who's been hounding Tim from afar decides to take things up close and personal, putting Bernard and everyone else Tim cares about in peril as things go from bad to worse for the world's oldest and canonically tallest Robin. No, I will not be fact checking that. All that, and Tim finally carves out a corner of Gotham City just for himself and sets up shop in his very own Murder Shack boat. Fan favorite writer Meghan Fitzmartin teams up with beloved Harley Quinn artist Riley Rossmo to define the next chapter in Tim's life. And as if that wasn't enough, break out your skateboards and motorcycles because we've assembled a murderer's row of artists to draw 1990's one true Robin in his various looks from over the years. That is the most confrontational solicit I have ever.
And I love every second of it.
We'll get to our ongoing fight, James. But in the meantime, so the villain that's been stalking him for a year, intimacy, right? We all agree.
Oh,
It's
yeah. The mystery is his sexuality, right?
Set up
it's his own
punchline.
homophobia.
You got
It's
me.
his internalized homophobia.
Yes,
It's all
it's
going
such
to
a-
be him. The climax is going to be him yelling at a reflection.
I want a climax as my climax.
My
Come
God
on.
damn it, TJ.
My favorite part of this personally is Bernard and everyone else Tim cares.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite
The
part is
rest.
the world's favorite Robin because we all know that's
Yes.
Dick.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
every time someone talked about how Tim is queer now, they put up a picture of Dick Grayson.
Yes.
Every news agency did this. Every single one, because obviously if he's not wearing pants, he must be the gay one.
Right.
I get that assumption. I get that.
We
But
would love that for
That's
him, but
everybody's
it's not.
favorite Robin.
The
It's
fact
just
that
is.
we keep getting Nightwing pride variants
Exactly.
without any explanation whatsoever doesn't help.
It doesn't
clarify.
help. Like, I understand
not
that,
help.
like Tom Taylor is ally and like that's great, but like Nightwing doesn't need pride variants. Like, it doesn't need to be a thing.
Yeah.
One can argue that Nightwing needs pride variants more than anyone else.
You know, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I just tweeted, how many Nightwing Pride covers can you get before it's queer baiting?
I mean,
We're gonna find out.
if anybody,
A two?
Yeah, I was gonna say that ship has sailed.
I mean, there was that point where Chris asked me on Twitter, like, who's the next person to come out? I'm like I said Barbara Gordon because like it seemed too likely that she would just say fuck Dick and go over to see Corey. But like, I could see Dick. I could definitely see Dick.
I gotta shout out to the idea that fuck Dick has double meaning in this situation.
I don't know. If you're gonna ship Babs with anybody, it's got to be Dinah Lance, right?
Dinah Lance,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, I would.
I mean, she's met Corey, I think, once, and it was in Dick's apartment, and she was like wearing his T-shirt after.
And
they had just slept together.
how many Bat family members can Corey possibly sleep with?
I mean,
It's not just one already.
You don't know how
go to three.
Tamarinians
It's
do,
okay.
okay?
That's fair.
Yeah,
We have
That's
not
fair.
fully explored how Tamarinians do.
That's true. That's true.
I would sleep with all the members of the Bat family
Fair.
It's also
as
Yeah.
well. So, okay. I keep
They're
bringing
all
this
very
back to
thick.
con.
TJ's like, please get on topic. That's
Well,
all
no,
I
like,
ask.
he just really wants to have his conship, which I can respect because I would have had that ship for years.
Yeah.
I
Like,
get
so-
who,
It's never
who
gonna
else
happen.
clothes somebody
It's
to bring them
never
back to
gonna
life?
happen.
Like, come on.
I
Do
mean,
we think Megan is going to ditch Bernard and go for TimCon?
No.
I think she's trying to
No.
plant the seeds,
Okay,
but
TJ,
like if she was
TJ.
committing to Bernard, why does he suck so
mean,
bad?
TJ,
here's my argument for why it can happen. Here's why it can happen. Nobody's doing anything else with Connor.
I mean, Suicide
Here's
Squad
the
was,
deal,
and then we
though.
found out it was a clone.
I don't think she's gonna do it.
No.
Look, I like Megan. She's very sweet. We've given her so many chances to do anything with this, and she's not doing it. I don't know
We
what to tell you.
created a podcast within a podcast based on the
She's
chances
not
we've given
doing
her.
it. She's
I-
not
she's
gonna
gonna-
do it.
She's getting a series though.
Maybe
Like, I
it's
want to
an
give her
editorial.
another
No.
chance.
Maybe
What did
it's an
she-
editorial thing.
Maybe, but okay. But
Right.
what did she say in her
It's-
interview?
It's
She doesn't think it's.
absolutely an editorial thing.
She
Yeah?
said she didn't think
I
it was her
figured, I
place to
figured.
give him a label. I'm just throwing that out there. She's not ever gonna do it.
Well, because at that point, you got to think from an editorial perspective. If you say like Tim Drake is a bi for Connor Kent, that means both of your Superboys are queer in some capacity.
Yeah,
So
they're
you
not-
have to.
All right.
That's
Two
not a
things.
problem.
TimCon is never going to happen, which is too bad because it should. But it's not. They're not going to have Robin and Superboy be boyfriends.
Why not?
I think it's gonna happen one day.
I know this year starts with a 2, but come on. Come on. It's not going to happen.
Why not?
That said, I do think, and I don't know, I don't have any inside information about this, but I do think that there is an editorial decision to have the kiss be in a Robin specific book, like not in
That would be cool.
Hmm.
not in Batman Urgent Legends, not in the Pride special, but in like this
That
is
you can buy
a Robin
yeah,
book. Yeah.
as a way to market this book.
Now,
That makes sense.
is that a good idea?
Kinda.
I don't know. Like, but I do feel like what's probably happening is they are saving the kiss for a landmark issue. Maybe it'll be the first one. Maybe it'll be
Please.
issue 10.
Don't
Maybe
tease
it'll
me
be
like
issue
this.
50.
My money's
I
on
don't
10.
know.
I'm
Um,
leaking over here.
I don't know what their plans are.
Here's the thing. I
But I think it's-
love a slow
I do think
burn.
it's intentional,
Yeah.
but not in the sense that they're afraid of male intimacy, though an argument could be made, James. Like I have certainly talked about
Mhm.
enough about mainstream comics and their uncomfortableness with queer joy. So
Yes.
I'm with you.
Yes.
But I think just as plausible is the idea that it's a very specific moment that they have planned.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that means that the slow burn goes on longer than it should.
Okay, but here's the thing. I love a slow bird. I could read just about any slow bird, but this, as much as I joked that it was a slow bird, this is not how you do a slow bird. This is not how you do it.
A
You've
slow
got to
burn. Yeah.
you've got to do some edging. I'm gonna just say it. You've got to go right up to that limit and then pull
Mhm.
back. That's a slow burn.
Yeah.
This is okay, but like, what if we just never make progress? And there's no reason for it. Like at this point, go with the Hallmark tactic. How about you just have the comms go off every time they're about to kiss? There are other ways to avoid this. than
That
it just
would be
happening.
hilarious.
Wouldn't it be great?
Right.
If every time they were about to kiss, Tim had to be Robin,
Yeah, yeah.
that would be
I think it'd be the
beautiful.
greatest
Like
thing ever.
I would be irritated and in love with it at the same time.
Exactly. I think that's how you do it though. Like I hate to be the one that's like, no, look, I'm in fandom. I know how to write a slow burn. This is not it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm
I just
losing it, I'm
reread the
sorry.
issue. I feel like this special, the only story that actually focused on the romance was the first one. And even then, it was like a mystery of, oh, are they?
Mm.
And then, the second two stories, like the Christmas one and the one we just got, like, it wasn't about the slow burn of their relationship, or it was barely about his sexuality. Like, it was
Yeah.
stories about other things and his sexuality plotline was like the Z story.
Yeah.
And what I find even funnier is that like Bruce in Paige has been more blatantly comfortable with Jonathan's sexuality than Tim's sexuality, which I find so funny.
It
Like-
is. He just barely remembers he has that child. Don't forget. Canonically.
Damn it.
Canonically, he like, you remember that scene in the Signal comic where he was like, our family, and Tim is not among the pictures.
Bro, and like those are the ones that crack me up the most, where it's like you'll have like the Tynan like Batwoman meeting or the New 52 like team starting Court of Owls, where it's like family. Bruce, this is like half of your family. What are you doing?
I
Like,
do.
Where are your
I do
children?
feel like I have
Crowd
to
scenes are
remind
hard
us.
to draw.
I do feel like I have to remind us that Tim Drake's parents are alive.
Sometimes.
Like, they
in this
are
canon,
around.
currently.
Sometimes.
What?
Every once in a
Yeah.
while they get
Like, ever since the
boomerangs.
New 52, his parents have been alive. Like,
Yeah.
we just acted like
They're
like,
fine now.
We
I was
just
talking
forget
about what
that.
about that time?
Why is he
Literally, we're gonna
adopted
read-
then?
He's not.
He's
They-
not.
Well, he
but
kind of
Bernard
is.
says
It
he
depends.
is. So
if,
Yes.
if you read the Tynan arc, it specifically talks about how for some reason his parents are okay with him being Robin,
Yeah.
and it's very odd. It's almost like
So
someone
Bruce
just-
adopted
No.
him.
He's referring to Bruce and Alfred in that poem.
Yeah, those are his parents. Yeah.
No, yes, he does
Okay.
call him a Wayne, and I do think they were implying in that one that he's adopted, and I don't know what that has to do with canon. 'cause
It's
he's
the
not
Dark Knight's
supposed
metal
to be.
effect, where like we don't know what's canon anymore because
Not especially with
ever since Dark Knight's metal, everyone's just been like, screw it, we don't
Yeah.
even care anymore.
Yeah, but no,
Also-
Tim's got the worst of it, as
Yes,
Chris is
he
saying.
has,
Mhm.
because let's not forget that like Batman Eternal, again coming back up, his
Mhm.
parents were dead in Batman Eternal, which is technically part of this timeline, I think.
Yeah, it is technically like Tynan and Snyder wrote it in this timeline, but then we're like, oh, his parents are alive in the DC Rebirth, and it's
Yeah,
like,
but
In
Huh?
Batman and Robin Eternal, we find Tim Drake's parents in witness protection.
yup.
But no, they get the dad gets killed by Boomerang in the one before that. It does not make sense. We cannot try to make Tim make sense.
I mean, if I had my way, I would just erase all of the New 52, but like no one will listen to me. So
We
like,
gotta just reset back to he is a non-adopted child with kind of negligent parents who found out who Bruce Wayne is. That is what he should be always.
I want to say I am so tired of conversations happening off panel.
Yeah.
Yes.
When
Yes.
he came out to Batman, and then we pick up right after, and it's
Ugh.
like, yeah, but I wanted to see it.
like no, it's because no one wants to draw that uncomfortable Bruce. We need to have monolith Bruce, but like he can't express emotion. Like Tom King couldn't even make him love Catwoman. Like can't we understand that? Like he can't show emotion.
I love the mental
You're so
image of
good.
Tim being like, hey dad, I'm gay, and Batman just poofs out of the room.
Like literally, he's just like, I'm gone by.
Well,
Like,
and then we get this new story. He comes out to Stephanie. We pick up immediately after, it seems like. And we do get him saying, oh, like, it's not about your gender. I like more than just girls. I like that. But it feels like we're skipping these important first
Mhm.
conversations
we have to read this.
because
I mean, he's right. Like
someone doesn't want to label Tim Drake. And
This
it's
is what
like,
it actually says, because it is the most convoluted talk around
it
ever.
really is.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. It's all just been ... Discovering I have a whole new part to myself, but ... Just so you know ... My feelings for you ... I never lied. It's so bad. It's not over. Exactly what I wanted. And you were exactly what I wanted and more. I just realized it wasn't
And
gender. I don't just like girls.
Yo, what page is this on? Like, can
This
you
is
show
the
me the
one where
panel?
he is the panel. I mean, It's this panel.
Gotcha.
It's
Thank
the
you.
one
Okay,
with
let
all
me
the
try to add it in
text.
front of me.
Yeah, I just gotta say, it is the panel with Steph in the best outfit. That's the
Yeah, the outfit's nice. I mean, I
Yes.
would have gone with a boot, but you can't go wrong with thigh highs and a choker.
Yeah, she does. She looks like she's on Riverdale, but I like it.
Now, if we could just give her a cowl, I would feel so much better. But like, no one will listen to me.
I'm like, okay, I liked this scene. I liked it. I just feel like we're skipping these first conversations because when you
Yes.
come out to someone and they're like, oh, well, what are you? Like,
Mhm.
Tim would be like, I don't know, maybe bi. Like, we're not getting any sort of recognition on these labels. And I understand not wanting to put important,
But you
for
can
them,
do that.
but make that a part of the story.
Thank
Don't just
you.
skip over
Mhm.
it.
I
It's how many
think-
times have you had the conversation? Like
Mm.
as we were figuring out who we are, and people are like, well, what are you? And you just say, I don't know yet.
Right.
There, we could show it. Done. Fixed it.
Yeah.
And they've
And
even
it's-
called him bisexual in like the solicits
I
at one point.
know.
If I
It's
could
so
make a counter
wild.
argument, would Tim Drake ever admit he doesn't know something?
That's so fair. That's so fair.
Well, then
I
let's
love
just
that.
see him floundering. We obviously have no problem writing that. So let's see the floundering conversation where Steph's like, and so how do you identify? And he's just like,
That's so mean. But
I'm
no,
not
like
wrong,
it goes
no.
back to my theory that like I don't think there's enough of like people in the not just editorial, but like enough creators to be able to give the leverage to be like, yo, these talks matter. You can't gloss over that. Like, it doesn't matter who the writer is or the editor is. Like there needs to be the ability to tell those stories because like we're seeing indie books come out left and right that are just like blatantly like, yo, this is here. It exists. Deal with it. Like, but then when it comes to the big two, it's like we have to make a whole spectacle out of it. And
good point.
And we can't. And when we do make the spectacle, we don't do enough of it to actually make it matter.
yes. Oh, good point.
I will say there was stuff in Galaxy where
I was just going to say, unless it's Galaxy the
In
Prettiest
bookstores
Star.
now.
I had to bring it up. Galaxy
Yes,
Prettiest Star in
always.
bookstores now.
It's
Wait,
amazing.
you're
Frustrated by how Tim Drake isn't gay enough. I have written a very gay book for DC.
Yeah.
Can I
Yes,
make
you
a-
have.
Can I
Thank
make
you.
a counter argument but also praise at the same time?
Sure,
That's
but then I want to get back to my point.
Of course. The one thing DC has done amazingly as of late is give amazing creators like you creative control in young adult spaces. But they seem to be missing the goal line when it comes to their adult / like mainstream books because they don't think adult gays exist, and they think the next generation is the one that matters, like the amazing Aqualad book that's getting a TV show on HBO Max, or like your work. You see this push for development and progression there, but then it's like, what's going on over here in the main continuity? Like,
I want
well,
to-
back to my point.
Wait, yeah,
This
Jadzia's
falls
turn.
into what you're
Yes,
saying,
sorry.
James, because I'm not disagreeing with you. But I also want to bring back up something Jaffe said, which is that it's not a monolith. When I was writing Galaxy, there were scenes that I felt were very important to the queer experience that my editor, Sarah Miller, who is great, wanted to cut. And I explained to her why those were important, and she kept them. That happened because Sarah is who she is, and she's great. Sarah is not editing every DC book. There are other editors with different points of view who, when looking at the story, will say, well, yes, that's a very nice scene about queerness and everything, but we need to move this story along, cut it. Pacing is more important than your emotions. Or whatever. Like, different editors have different priorities. And certainly in the superhero books, the main continuity, there is a conservative vibe for sure. I haven't worked with any of them, so I don't know how much of that is their actual opinions, but it does feel that way. I know a lot of people in publishing are nervous about backlash when it comes to presenting queerness, and whether that's a real concern or a made-up concern, it's still something that people carry with them. So yeah, I think you're right, but I don't think it's like a DC thing.
Of course,
so much
no.
of it is individual editors have different picadillos and different priorities. And Sarah is definitely pushing for more gay stuff in the YA area. And that's not that DC is like, YA is a safe place to be gay. It's that Sarah is like, let's have some more gay stuff in the YA because that's what people want. And I think we're seeing that people want it in the more mainstream comics too. But the other editors in there are not Sarah and have different priorities.
I guess the confusing thing for me is if things are getting cut for pacing, how come the story's not going anywhere? Like, I'm sorry. This one really pissed me off. In case this isn't obvious.
No, you got it, Chris. That's fair.
Because I liked this issue. Don't get me wrong. It would be great in a story I could trust to have momentum. But at this point, I'm like, okay, here's another one.
I do want to say there is a very mature and thoughtful take on a queer relationship happening in a DC comic book right now. And it's the couple of Nubia and Io over in the Nubia.
Yes.
For real, yes, most definitely.
We see them physically intimate with each other. They share a bed. They share their emotions. It's just a very warm and inviting sort of relationship that we get to see that adds a lot to the character. And that whole section of just the DC universe that Stephanie Williams is building right now is just incredibly queer and very loving, and it's just very amazing. Refreshing to visit every month. So it's happening if you know where to look. It's not absent.
It's just baffling because the story is about this theoretically.
Yeah,
that's what it's supposed to be about, right? It's not about anything else.
Right.
My theory is,
yes, please.
I think they're gonna collect this issue into the first Tim Drake Robin collection with the first arc of his new comic, and I'm hoping they're gonna flow together and really lead into what we've been building up to. I'm like,
that would be nice.
I want that too. I know I've been really
unhinged
with this because
I want your faith to be rewarded so bad.
I feel bad too.
You just seem like this bundle of faith that I love always like hearing when I listen to the show, and then I hear you on like here. I love it.
I'm telling you, that other day on Twitter,
you're like a child who still believes in Santa Claus. It's so wonderful. You don't have the heart to break it.
I feel really bad because Alex and I were like on your side until this episode. It was just
I'm telling you, I was at my low point when this issue first dropped. I was just so mad because I'd been burned so many times. But now I'm like, you know what? They're giving him an ongoing. If they had put a little ad for that at the end of this issue, maybe I wouldn't have been as mad.
Yeah, and Sherlock's gonna kiss Watson in one of these episodes, and Dean is definitely gonna make out with Cass. You're right, TJ. You keep hoping.
I'm hoping.
I mean, I will say the one thing that did give me hope is the idea that Jorge Jimenez did a cover for the series, because that man could draw the whole DC universe forever, and I would buy every cover ever. So I have hope.
That
Will I be
more
pissed?
Young Justice cover, man.
Okay, it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I'll give you that.
Will I be pissed if there's no kiss in issue 1 of Tim Drake Robin? Yes. Will I still buy every cover?
Oh, yes. Yeah, me too. Like, let's not lie. I'm reading the hell out of this thing.
Most definitely.
I'm just mad about it.
So can we put this story, the new one that with Steph, put this one in conversation with the DC Pride 2022 story, and just like, how do we feel about them separately and contrasting them?
Okay. My answer is, I think the most intimate Bernard Tim story is the Pride one. Like, it is
easily.
So
Bernard's
much.
barely in it.
I know, but there is this like teen movie like montage of dates and stuff, and it's like, oh hey, here's them actually acting like a couple, like they're shirtless in the water together. Certainly more action than Tim has gotten in any of the other ones. So
I don't know, that hand holding with Con was pretty hot.
They have the movie together.
Me.
They have like all of these really actually sweet like images that we get to see in this Pride special, but it is not part of the main story, and it's not like in continuity or by the writers of continuity right now. And it's kind of makes me sad.
Tim Drake got Bernardo first Pride cake.
Yes.
And then they have
been to a Pride before.
Shot. The close
yes.
head shot.
Oh yes.
He went to a Pride parade years ago with Bunker. That happened.
Yes, that did happen. Despite Liddell being a crazy person, that did happen.
But maybe
he went
this
to
is
a
like
Pride.
that was like my pride when I was an ally. This is the pride
Right.
knowing
Okay,
I'm
Fair enough.
queer.
Yes,
That was a
There is
pride.
a difference
This
in
is a
that. That's a
pride.
good point, Chris.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's I liked that. And him
You know,
every villain in Gotham trying to steal the cake, my favorite. I loved it so much. They were like, it's gotta be important.
And they say it's
So I was gonna say, imagine if they'd opened it and they're just like, oh, he's gay. I can't fight him now. I'd be homophobic. It's Pride Month.
I
Let
mean,
him
Here
go.
we go.
Like 80% of the villains in Gotham are gay anyway. So
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh,
Thank you.
Welcome
I've been
to the
saying that for
family.
years.
Yeah,
I mean,
Harley's just like,
yeah.
good job, buddy. I always knew. I mean,
Yeah.
you know.
my favorite things about this Pride special were obviously Jadzia's story,
Yes.
the Connor Hawk story, which I wrote about for the
Yes.
PC website, Kevin Conroy's story, obviously,
Mhm.
and
Oh.
the many cakes that I saw on Twitter trying to emulate this smash. That was amazing.
Oh, that's
Can we
so
get a shout out for
cute.
the Aqualad story though? Because the
Yes.
Aqualad story was iconic.
That was
the
That's
not.
so good.
Aqualad story
Very
made me
good.
misty at the end. I'll
Me
say
Me
it.
too.
I
That
like
was good.
Hallway.
Yeah, me too. A character with more personality than Bernard. Sorry, guys.
I mean, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I
Like,
had to bring it back around.
And like, not even it didn't even take a while. He had personality when he first showed up in Kelly
Yeah.
C. the Comics run.
He's
Yeah.
also
he
I
had
think
more
he-
personality in the digital exclusive books that Steve Orlando was writing for a hot minute.
I think Bernard has a lot of personality looking at his original appearances.
Oh sure,
Yes.
yeah.
We just need to bring that in. And like we have lines in this news story where he's like, oh, Stephanie, you're real. And that's a throwback to him thinking she wasn't real.
I mean,
you know,
in that Robin series, he was basically Xander from Buffy, but that's
You're not
something.
wrong.
No!
That's something.
Oh,
That's
God,
a, that's a
take
horrible
that.
comparison.
Don't bring
but
it
you're
back.
right.
Kill it. Kill it
take
with
that
fire.
and make him gay. And that makes him better.
Yeah.
So like
I'm sorry.
make him a conspiracy theorist, but in a fun way. Like he's obsessed with Robin. We've seen him mention that, but I want to see it. Like
I don't need
Make
Bernard
him
to be a
interesting.
self-insert Joss Whedon. You can
No,
burn it
God,
with
no.
fire.
That's why I'm like, burn but that makes sense.
You know what? I'm actually fine with him having no personality. I've reversed my decision.
I mean, if we learn anything from Vicky Vale, like blondes who get too deep into batshit end up not living long.
It goes bad.
Oh yeah.
Bernard's been training. Do you remember he fought those couple guys in the first story in this issue? Because I forgot until I just reread it.
Yeah.
Anyway, Chris, I agree. I liked the intimacy that was
Yeah.
shown in the DC Pride, just because it
Yeah.
was something that was missing from this whole issue. So
Yeah. I just
But
think
they
this
still
issue
didn't
needs to
kiss.
stop being so careful. Even if they don't kiss, just don't be this careful. I'm going crazy.
yeah,
This is it. This is my villain origin story.
yeah, Yep,
Yeah,
yep.
I would prefer them like having screw ups in a relationship
Mhm.
than Tim constantly worrying about screwing it up.
Yes.
Mm.
Yes. Oh God. Because that's more in line with who Tim is. Let's think back to any time he's ever dated anyone, right? Like
Though-
he's fucking terrible at it. Let's see that.
I gotta throw Megan a bone though, that like that fear is actually something I've been dealing with myself recently, where you try to put yourself into your first queer relationship and you think you knew everything when you thought you were on the straight. And like you you knew what was good, what was up, but then you think it's a whole different dynamic when you like step into your true self. So like I kind of want to throw her a bone, but I see your point that like it is a little weird that we don't see the mistakes themselves and just the fear of the mistake. But I still see, I see where she's at.
I love your point, James, but I don't think we're getting it enough. Like if we're in his head a little bit more than we are and he's actually thinking those things, that would be better. But we don't have that access. So we are reading into what it possibly is about.
Yeah. The other thing is comics are a visual medium. You have to show us. Don't
Have to do
tell us.
something.
Yes, it's in character for Tim, but this is a comic book.
Yeah, but you know what is in character for him is to overthink and then think he has come up with a great idea and then to fail at it. Like that's in character. So
That's what we're missing. We're missing his great ideas.
Yes.
I want
That he
him to
then
have
fails
like
at.
I've solved it. I've figured out
That's it.
love and then do it bad.
Guys, relationships are really hard.
It's almost like he needs an ongoing series, guys.
Hey, there we go.
Maybe it'll
Please.
give us all we want, but I just need to remind you, we've been here so many times on this
Yeah.
very show saying maybe next time we'll get what we want.
Maybe
You won't.
But it's gonna get really funny though when like DrakeWatch is like every month soon, and then
Oh, we'll
like
be getting there.
every month we're just like, okay, guys,
Next
this
time.
is the one. Next
Your
time.
schedules.
At this
Next
point,
time.
I don't want to have to go through that amount of pain. So maybe every arc, unless there actually is a kiss in issue 1, and then we'll do an improv.
All right, team, we just establish what is a big enough up in intimacy that we come back together. Do we do a hug? Do we do
No, we need a kiss. I will take a peck on the cheek,
If-
but I need a kiss.
Is it hand stuff? Is it
Is it a hand job? Is a hand job enough?
is it
I
hand job
mean,
enough?
What if they come out of a closet half naked?
What if?
Oh my god.
I think I said in our DC Pride recording, I was like, next year I want mouth to penis action. That is going to be my standard
Bro.
of grading.
I think we
Next
come back. If,
Pride
I think we
story.
come back if Bernard displays any kind of personality whatsoever. We can
I'm here for that. I'm here for
We're
that.
gonna be waiting a while.
I was gonna say we're gonna be
Alex.
waiting longer for that than the kiss. I tell you right now.
I mean, I'll probably get TJ on for Titans before that'll happen. Like,
I told you I'm down anytime. Well, all right. I want to end this with. I feel like I've asked this before. Do we think TimCon is actually going to happen? Next 5 years,
No.
TimCon, yes or no?
I will say I want to be on your side, TJ, as someone who's been there from jump, because like Peter David's Young Justice was my first ever comic book. I want to be on your side, but like the man literally tried to clone him and we didn't get gay then. Like, I can't believe it now.
5 to
I'm
10
sorry.
years.
I'm
yes
just
or
in
no?
my
No?
basement with a conspiracy board, and I'm like, I want to believe.
Okay. Well, then my other question is, do you think
Wait,
Bernard's
Alex, do
going to
you
be
believe?
around?
Alex,
I think
not
yes.
answer.
I think it's going to happen.
Yes,
I think it's
You
going
got
to happen
one.
within the next 5 years, and you will all look like fools.
I agree.
I will stand alone
Okay, no.
atop the mountain saying, "I told you." So.
I would love to be wrong.
Yeah, Alex.
That
I would
be
love to
the
be
thing.
wrong, yeah,
I
no,
would
I
be. I would get to be right, and you would all get to love to be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a,
Wouldn't be
it's
mad
a
about
great
it.
outcome. Can I just say it's a great
Yeah,
outcome?
win-win.
Alex wants the
I'll-
power that
Well, no, 'cause Alex,
Jadzia has.
I'll raise you, Alex. I'll raise you. I'll say it's gonna happen, and then crisis, because we're just gonna wipe it.
I'm gonna say no.
I'll raise you that.
Well, there's always eventually going to be a crisis. So, like, you can't
we're
bet
gonna
that
give
a
the Dark
crisis
Knight's Metal
will
Barbara
eventually
a
happen.
dick marriage, and then we're just gonna be like, crisis.
In 5 years,
He's
I'm going to be
straight
like,
again after crisis.
in
Yeah.
5 years, I'm going to say, you know what? It didn't happen yet, but in the next 5 years, for sure. And I'm just going
Alright.
to keep doing that.
You know what?
No,
you
no.
keep that flame alive, TJ. I will
10
try.
years is my
Someone
cap.
has
try
to
get
keep the
back
faith.
on.
By
Someone has to
June
keep the faith.
17th, 2027, we're going to get TimCon somewhere.
So far.
Somewhere.
I will even accept like a young adult book one-off
Yeah.
where
Maybe
they
it'll happen in Titans. Maybe
I
it'll
just
happen
feel like
in
it's gonna
some
happen.
webtoon series.
Yeah.
It'll happen
That'd
somewhere.
be great.
Alex is speaking my language.
I do want to point out that this dark justice crisis situation is killing off all the straight members and leaving the gay ones behind.
That's
Something
right.
we have not explored enough. I
It's the
feel
queer rapture.
That's such a good point.
It is because what are we doing? We're like introducing every family has their queer member. Who are we killing? The straight people.
Wait, does the Flash family have a queer member?
Yeah, they have Jesse Quick.
She's she's
Jess
supposed to
Quick.
be married.
Jess
Jess-
Quick. I'm
Jess-
sorry, I
Oh,
forgot
Jess
there's
Quick.
two fucking
Okay,
different
fair.
people.
Jess Quick.
Jess Quick, non-binary Flash of the
You're right,
future,
right.
who has
Kid
an own
Quick,
series that
just
starts.
something else.
Chambers. Just Chambers.
Thank you.
I
They have a
swear they
different last
called.
name.
Swear they called them Quick in this Pride issue.
Yeah. Their
Yeah, they did.
superhero name is Kid Quick. Their
Oh,
real
God.
name is Jess Chambers.
This is
Right.
why
Yeah.
it's confusing.
right.
Just like
yes.
Jesse Chambers' name.
And they're also different ages depending on the story and the timeline.
Well, that's
It's a
everything.
mess.
Fine, I'm
It's a
fine.
mess.
I understand what's but yes, every family has a queer member.
Mhm.
at
Now
this
you know what
point.
I want though. I want them to actually tell the story of Jess coming out to Johnny Quick being like the old JSA member that he was, and like
Ooh.
telling that story. That would be so touching.
There you go. There you go.
All right, 5 to 10 years. Is Bernard still around? Is he a long term?
Oh,
Nah.
DC is like, get rid of that twink.
No,
God.
he's gonna disappear in a hot air balloon.
Obliterate that twink.
Yeah, to quote Marvel, I want that twink obliterated.
Yep.
I need that on a t-shirt. Obliterate that week.
I really do want to know, like, is he gonna get like a death to motivate Tim, or is he literally just wandering off?
We're
I think he's
literally
just gonna disappear.
kill the gays, bro.
I don't think he's gonna get a death. He's just gonna drop into the background somewhere.
Is he
If
gonna
Stephanie
be one
got
of those,
broken
like,
up with off screen, he's definitely gonna get the off screen.
it's gonna be one of
It's only
those
fair.
like Teen Wolf situations where they're like, he moved to London between issues.
Yeah.
Oh, he went to college. He took Tim Drake's scholarship when he dropped it.
Because they're transferable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
All right. Well, we had to bring on even more people for this discussion because we had such an overstuffed issue.
Mhm.
So thank you, James, for joining us.
You know, this was a blast. I always love y'all's energy, and I'm happy that I got to be here.
Yeah,
Like, this was
absolutely.
great.
And Jadzia and Alex, thank you as always.
Always a pleasure to
So much fun.
watch you guys
Yeah.
try to imagine a better world.
Try.
It gives me hope for the future
Yeah.
in my black heart.
And would you all like to plug where our listeners can find you online? And if you have any other projects they should be looking out for?
And James, you can have your one sentence insults to Damien before I kick you.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Oh, how do I phrase this in the most beautiful way possible?
Better not be a fucking run on. You have one sentence.
Well, first of all, you can find me on Twitter at James C Portis 3, and then also on the podcast, P2P_podcast on Twitter. Panel to panel, queer Black women podcast, just from like talking about comic books every week. We're doing a bunch of Pride specials right now. We're releasing a Snagglepuss episode on Monday.
Snagglepuss.
Yes, that was the kind of my coming out comic book where like my co-host Mary was like saw that I was struggling and she's just like, I want you to go to Comixology and buy this. I'm like, this is a Hanna-Barbera comic. What the hell are you talking about? She's like, just read it. I'm like, okay, whatever. Because I knew Flintstones was good. Read that. And then I was a mess and came out. So that was fun. But no, like we're doing Pride issues. I'm gonna have a mess talking about Snagglepuss and my coming out, and then I'm interviewing Joe Glass tomorrow. That'll be a fun time. But let's say that's pretty much everything I'm working on right now. I'm trying to launch a Destiny 2 podcast, but it's just a mess. So that because that community is always toxic as hell. So that'll get there at some point. But like just in general, like thank you to you both because like y'all bust your ass to make this whole month happen. So congratulations to you guys.
Thank you.
And your Titans podcast.
Yes. And those are going to be bonus episodes. Like because season 4 is coming. But the most beautiful comic shot in the history of anything will always be Damian Wayne ripping off the Robin insignia from his chest. And then the worst moment in comic history was Joshua Williamson going, I can fix him, because we know.
Yeah, I regret doing that.
I will defend that series because I really like it.
It's a good series because Williamson writes good work, but I'm still saying
I said you could have one
okay,
sentence.
do not engage. Next up, Alex, please go next.
All right. I write for DCComics.com. I have a regular column where I answer reader submitted questions about the depths and breadth of the DC universe and all its obscurities and ephemera. I host trivia every week in the DC community. Trivia Tuesday, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern. We have a different topic every week. It's a lot of fun. I have a video game podcast that's been running since 2012 called Insert Credit, where I ask the smartest people in video games the stupidest questions I can think of. And if you would like me to talk over you on your podcast, then you could reach out to me on Twitter at Alex Jaffe. And because James got one sentence for his hot Robin take, I want a sentence for mine. The Tim Drake that you all love from the new Batman Adventures is just Jason Todd with a different name.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. I will give you that. You're not wrong.
God, I didn't
You
say
really
everyone
love
could have
Jason
a
Todd.
sentence, but
No,
I
we're all
guess
getting
Jadzia,
one.
you can.
Thank you.
I'm excited for hers. I'm excited. I really want to hear this.
Right. So now I'm thinking of a hot Robin take because I don't usually have one. But right. So I wrote a graphic novel called Galaxy, the Prettiest Star. I mentioned it earlier. You can still buy it. It's still in stores here 20 minutes later. So please go out and purchase it. I also had a story in this year's DC Pride anthology. about Alicia Yo, our favorite Batgirl best friend. I think we can say that. She doesn't have any other
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
Else would it be?
And that was just a delightful story to do, and people seem to enjoy it, which warms my heart. You can follow me on Twitter at Planet X or Instagram on Planet X. And if you want to see pictures of my food and outfits, and also my hot Star Trek takes, I guess that's about it.
Sounds fun.
So my only Robin take is, quite frankly, there doesn't need to be pants.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my god!
Like,
I
have
wasn't
the courage
expecting
of your
that.
convictions, guys.
I love it.
Didn't wear pants for like 40 years.
But
Free
then
the
the Comics
legs.
Code Authority
Free
came
them.
in and said, that's
Free
bad.
them all.
Hashtag free the
Like,
legs.
all of them. Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Damian, no pants for the lot.
I love the idea of a red hood with no pants.
A
Nice.
leather jacket, no pants. I'm here for it. Like, yes.
Pants.
In fact, no Bat Kid should wear pants.
Yeah,
Only
why
Batman
does-
gets pants.
Why
Only
does Nightwing wear pants?
Yeah,
Why
there's
does
no
Nightwing
reason for him to
wear
wear pants. Signal,
There's
no,
no
pants.
reason.
Batgirl, no pants. Batgirl, no pants.
Jace
Batgirl,
is
no
in
pants.
the full costume, but somehow no pants.
Yes.
I don't know. I
With
think
just
Cassidy
Lady
can-
Gaga in the whole way through.
Fair enough.
Until next time, when we will be pantsless, JLQ disassemble.
And Damien's great. Bye.
Lies.
Thank you for listening to the Gotham Outsiders. You can find me, Chris, on Twitter at The Myth of Psyche, where I talk about feminism, psychology, and Batman, of course. But you can also find me on my new show at Thirsty on Tune, over on the Talking Comics feed, where Bronwyn and I review webtoons and drink wine, and also review romance novels. You can also find me writing reviews at talkingcomics.com, and I am now accepting consulting clients. So if you need someone to do sensitivity reading or consult on psychology or queer identity, I'm your person. You can also find my co-host TJ
At Troyfin2 on Twitter, where I talk about books, gay things, gay books, and all sorts of things, including Batman pretty often, way more than I used to. And I recently became an official librarian, so you can find all sorts of book reviews that I post just for fun, a lot of advanced reviews of books that haven't come out yet. So if you're looking for a nice gay read, please hit me up. You could also find me talking on other podcasts just here and there if you search my name on any podcast service provider that you listen to.
And you can find us both talking about Batman all the time at the Gotham Outsiders. So join us next time. Same bat time, same bat place.